Hello and welcome to the Let's Drone Out podcast. It seems I'm doing the introductions today. So, hello and welcome back to my. No, I'm not going to do that.
I do that one. I like that.
People like I've taken over the channel now. So we have got Andrew today.
No. Real name Frank.
Real name. I still don't understand what that's about. We have got Johnny FPV.
Hello.
And we have Tony, who doesn't have a camera for some reason. It's all race flights fault, I believe, which we'll probably end up talking about. But it's not what you think. Some sort of driver on Tony's computer.
Yes, I was updating race flight, and yeah, I've got rid of my drivers of my camera. Now,
and
race flight is doing it.
I'm Andy RC, of course, and we don't have Jack this week, and we don't have NJ. He's off being a musician somewhere, so this is your lot.
Hi there, Johnny. Thank you for coming on.
Hear?
Yep.
Thank you for coming on this week. Jack has been in hospital and has somehow roped you into coming on. So for that.
Yeah, all good. I have actually a funny story. Andy, you were one of the first YouTube drone related channels I ever saw.
Are you serious?
Wow.
Seriously, before I think it was one of your
big
channels, quite small. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I assume it's pretty big. But like I'm thinking over 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's been going for some while, but I started off with like the little Hubsan copters as many people do, and you probably saw me from there. Wow, I never knew that. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is actually it was you that was going to be on the podcast, so this is kind of funny.
Oh, you didn't know I was going to be on? Yeah, the guys wrote me into this every week now. I think you're frozen now, Andy.
Yes. Oh, Johnny's frozen.
Oh, Johnny's frozen, as it.
Really?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, he came back.
Come back.
There we go.
Must have
good
bandwidth issues. No, that's awesome. That's great. I was just looking at your channel. You've got incredible number of subscribers. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's been growing a lot. It's just making those FP videos a lot of fun.
Awesome. So so you were before we came on air, you were talking about race flight yourself. So you mainly run race flight yourself, do you?
I think he's a KISS man.
Really?
What'd you say?
I think we're gonna have to ask him to adjust his bandwidth.
Yeah, we seem to be having some connection issues. Maybe just try coming through on the audio, Johnny, instead of the video.
Up in the top middle of the screen, there's a little button for adjust bandwidth usage.
Oh, actually,
drag that down a bit, then we'll hopefully be able to get.
Is that going to kill the quality to what, medium, low?
So yeah, if you drag it down to low or very low or something,
you'll look more pixelated, but we'll be able to hear the words that are coming out of your mouth.
Good. How is it now? Any improvements?
Yes. That sounds better. Don't worry about the quality. We're not about quality here.
Wow.
Yeah, what was you asking, Andy, about?
I was asking, yeah, is that your main setup, Johnny? Race flight rig opposed to KISS and Betaflight?
Yeah, it's KISS.
So when I started like making a lot of videos and whatnot, I was using that was 2 years ago, and then a year ago I think I switched to race flight, and I found a firmware that I really liked. I think it's called 222 or RC12.
Right.
Year old, and it's just what I've been using ever since. So it's kind of funny, they come out with firmware every day, and people are always asking what's the best, why should I upgrade, and I just tell them go to something that works. I use 222. It's super old and it flies amazing. funny.
So there you go. Top tip to Tony: don't update your firmware, and then it doesn't break your webcam either.
I had to update it though. I'm all for keeping on old firmware. I was on Betaflight 2.16 for ages because it just flew nice. And then what's the point of upgrading, right?
Yeah, seriously.
So, but I had to because I installed Crossfire, so I had no choice.
What do you want now? The
Unfortunately.
now, is it past 3.2 or is it still 3.2?
I can't remember I think it's the last one, which was 19. I can't remember. I only installed it the other day as well. It flies nice.
So Johnny, any sort of drone event that I see a lot of people at, I always see a picture of yourself flash up. So I'm guessing that you get around quite a lot and get a lot of flying, go to quite a lot of events and stuff. Would that be right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so drone racing or freestyle and just all of this stuff, it's my full-time job. A little background about me, if anyone's curious. I 3.5 years ago, and then I was a freshman. And the big world thing.
We're breaking up a bit again for me.
Yeah, getting a lot of breakup, unfortunately, Johnny.
Yeah. It might be worth going on to audio only, and then
yeah. If you just turn the camera.
Okay.
There we go. Fingers crossed we can hear you.
Is it okay now?
It's still skipping a little bit, isn't it? Are you running off mobile data or
No.
Wi-Fi?
Oh, I don't know why that would.
Yeah, it's just I keep wondering whether it's mine that's skipping. I don't know.
I generally find that our internet connection is usually a lot worse than anyone else's. But...
yeah, it's like usually the best in the US, isn't it? Yeah. You can try again, Johnny. Try next. I think you were explaining how you sort of started.
So I'll pause for a second. Hope.
No, we're just not getting anything through, Johnny. Sorry, it's
no.
We can't hear you.
Oh God, it's getting bad.
Oh my God, this is bad.
Enoch FPV in the chat has said he needs to pay Comcast a bandwidth ransom.
Yeah, are you able to hop over to mobile data or something, Johnny?
Be better. Hold on.
Sorry, folks. While we take a short break, Andy's going to sing Merry Christmas songs.
I definitely am not. I tell you, I went to upload a song today, and it instantly got blocked by Warner Group, which sucks because I've been working on some music to put on the channel, and they instantly blocked it. So I don't want you can end up getting like a YouTube strike if you have. I think you're not allowed to have more than 2 videos with blocked content on your channel. So no music.
You're gonna have to open up a music, Andy RC, the one where if you do get blocked or chucked off, it doesn't matter or affects the popular Andy RC.
Yeah, I did have a music channel for years, but it's really difficult to get any sort of traction with it. So I sort of give up on that and thought, well, I don't do it that much, just for fun. So every so often I thought I'd upload a video, but you can get in a lot of trouble. So that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing it, which is a shame. They need to change.
It's stupid, isn't it? You're promoting their music. You know, someone might go, "Oh, I really like this track. Who was it done by? Who was the original artist? I'm going to get this."
Yeah, I mean, some record companies are fine like that, but it's Warner Group. Any sort of it's not the artist's fault if they're signed to Warner Group, and you do one of their songs, then yeah, they'll block you. So it's weird though, because I uploaded it twice and one was blocked and the other one wasn't. So I need to figure out what's going on there. But
put something in the tags or the description or anything. I don't know.
Yeah, just make sure it's not Taylor Swift or anything like that.
I like a bit of Taylor. She sold herself to the devil now, though.
While we're waiting for Johnny to come back on, it might be worth mentioning, Tony, your new brainchild this weekend, depending on whether the weather's any good.
Yes, it all depends on the weather. We are all meeting in a pub in Coventry at about 1 p.m. on Sunday, weather permitting, because I'm now worrying about snow, because it's a 2-hour drive from me, 2.5-hour drive from me, and I don't want to get there, get in a pub, start drinking, and it snows hard, and I can't get home. I have to go and stay at Andy's.
And of course, as you all know, the further up north you get, it's just 10 times worse with the snow. You know, they've actually said here that they said it was going to start snowing at 8 o'clock here, and they said it's going to finish tea time tomorrow, and we're due to get 10 centimeters or something like that. So it's not sounding too promising, is it?
You can be our weatherman then. You can stick
Northern weatherman,
and tell us if it's worth carrying on or calling it off for another day.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's really tricky because it's like so close to the time as well, and people have signed up to come and stuff. So it'd be a shame, but that's just how it goes in this country, isn't it? Always the weather we can depend on.
I know. Bloody weather. I
Unfortunately-
wouldn't mind doing a snow video. So if it does snow, I'm ready to get out there with me snow quad.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Jack won't be able to make it this weekend because he's had to go back into hospital. So still be in hospital over the weekend, by the sounds of it. So,
Yes, sorry about Jack. I miss the old Yeti, I do.
yeah.
I actually miss him taking the pee out of me and being horrible.
So yeah, best of luck to him getting better. He wants us to maybe get him to or something into the pub for a bit, if he can manage it. So you might still hear his dulcet tones, but it will not be in person.
Let's do a little quick shout out while we're waiting. Striker, hello. Zero in the chat. Bloods is in the chat. Scotty's in the chat. Mikey Dread, what's up? We don't know what's going on yet, and we're hoping that you're coming, but we obviously are waiting on the weather. Zero's in the chat. Sherman's back in the chat. Enoch's in the chat. Did I say that wrong? Mr. Diggles is in the chat. Taz, I think that's the Taz I met a few months last month in the warehouse. Hello, mate. Who else we got in there? I think we've got Richard Harwood. Bradders is in the chat. Bradders, you need to help me sort out my camera after this, because I've put Raceflight is now running my camera, and we can all talk about Raceflight. We could talk about Raceflight for a little while and what's going on there.
Yeah,
We have a little chat about that. Green Patches, Davey, hello everyone, Mr. Frost, bonjour.
So Tony copied all the Raceflight code and opened up a GitHub, and his camera doesn't work, but when it is working, it runs super smooth, doesn't it, Tony? With his Raceflight
and everything. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Doesn't have any comment filtering in there.
Yeah, I just finished watching Joshua Bardwell's video on the whole thing, because I hadn't really kept up to date on what was going on, and it's an interesting situation, isn't it? I think we've just got so many configurators now, and it seems every time there's an argument that goes on with these projects that we end up with another branch of it. I hope that's not the case, because there's already too many configurators out there. I want to try Raceflight, I really do. So, and it looks like it's all getting sorted anyway. So just to recap, that there was a sort of disagreement between the Preston and the person who codes Raceflight.
Kalen, I think his name is.
Kalen, and it got changed. The project got changed to open source for a day or something like that, and I think it's been taken down now.
It's been taken down again, and apparently there was a bit from Betaflight in there, 20 lines of code
20
or
lines.
something. So Preston has apparently fixed that.
Yeah, it's been removed. So it's all very interesting, isn't it?
It is. I hope Raceflight continues though, because for me and dumbasses out there, it's such an easy setup. Like
Yeah.
it says, press this button to do this to do this. I mean, for a beginner, Raceflight's probably the best thing to go on, because it's so simple. Even though I muck up my drivers using it, but there you go.
Yeah, I still haven't tried it out. I want to a lot because you know a lot of the stuff I get from China and stuff, and you know with Betaflight being open source, it's more available, I guess, to us, isn't it, than you know the Racefly stuff. But I'd love to try it out. And I saw a video that they're adding an on-screen display now. There was sort of like a little teaser of the on-screen display, so that should be interesting. Have we got Johnny back?
Yep.
Potentially.
A lot better.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can. Okay.
Oh,
Don't
that's
move. Put your hand in the air.
that sounds much better, Johnny.
Point your
I think we've
hand
got you
towards
there.
the Wi-Fi or the outside antenna.
No, it's the same network. I just moved slightly over. Like I physically, I moved. I'm hoping it's whatever. Let's see.
That
We'll
sounds
see.
so much better. So you were explaining how you sort of got into all of this and how you progressed and things. Shall we carry on from there?
Sure. Yeah. Let's do it. So I'll talk about how I got into singing drones.
Please.
Boom, from the start. Let's see. Let me know if the audio ever gets really sketchy.
It's sounding great now.
Great. Fantastic. All right. So about 2.5 years ago, I was a freshman in University of Denver in Colorado in the United States. Whatever.
Yeah.
I was a freshman and the World Drone Prix happened. That was, I don't know, do you guys remember that?
Is that the Dubai event? Yeah. Or...
No.
I think.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was.
Yep.
I had been flying, I don't know, for half a year at that point, just kind of casual, kind of just chilling, having fun. Like FPV was the coolest thing ever at that point. But that event, whatever, it took off, and I randomly got hit up. There was a small drone company, which is pretty much gone now, but they were super ambitious, and they wanted to sponsor a team in the World Drone Prix. At that point, they invited me, and I basically entire life behind and went to Dubai a month before the race and just focused exclusively on drone racing ever since. So yeah, I could go into all the details about whatever, how I progressed, but that's pretty much it.
That's a pretty big decision because it's sort of it's such a niche thing as well, isn't it? It's not like we're Formula One or anything like that, you know. So
yeah, totally not. Like 2.5 years ago when this big event happened, it was, 1/10 the size. So thing to do now, and it was fine, but it's something I was super passionate about. Like, everyone, all you guys as well, doing this podcast, which is a thing, takes a lot of effort to put this on, I'm sure, but it's the same type of thing. Just fell in love with it and took that leap of faith.
Yeah, awesome.
You've been doing stuff with both DCL and DL1, I believe.
Those are both obviously much more recent. So DR1 initially started in 2016, I want to say. I don't remember exactly, but it was either 2016 or 2017, early 2017. And there was an event in California, like televised type thing. That was really cool. And then they just started up again and had their big racing over Europe and in the United States, and it's been on Eurosport and channels, I think. And then ECL is their championship just finished, and that was really, really cool to be a part of. Do you do any professional racing? I'm not super familiar with you guys.
You're all doing what we want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Johnny said, do any of us do any racing? Tony, you do racing, right?
I do race, but not not on a professional level, like
Right,
in front of
casually.
TV cameras and things like that. I've done a TV advert, which was pretty cool
Yeah,
experience.
for
That,
like
that was pretty cool. Argos
drone racing
advert.
related.
Well, it was 4 drones flying around past TVs and stuff like that. It was a good.
Cool.
Good. It was a good advert. It was good. Good experience. So.
Because I think you did one with Banny, didn't you, Johnny?
And let's see, it was one, yes. So I have my biggest sponsor supporter is Air Hogs. They're a toy company based out of Canada. Little RC drones and toys, and they had a commercial. And Luke is also a Air Hogs. We were in a commercial together, which was super cool. Really fun to be in filming and in that environment and experiencing that side of like whatever advertising and all that good stuff. So I'm great friends with Luke. That was
Yeah,
He's
he's a nice young lad.
Luke's awesome. Do any of you know him like personally or just on?
Yeah,
Just,
I've raced with him a few times. What lost to him a few times, I should say.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Luke's awesome. Yeah, we were where well, obviously he was at the DCL thing too. And he basically, there's 2 Next Blades teams. The racing team on Next Blades, and so they had 2 teams in DCL. And we were on the 2 different Next Blade teams. But Luke basically carried his entire team to victory and won 50,000 pounds or euros. So that was pretty awesome to see.
Yeah, that's cool.
Have you heard anything about the FAI championship next year that's going to be in Shenzhen?
No, I haven't heard anything about that. What's going on with that? Sounds awesome.
So it's going to be the sort of official FAI one. I think they're still working out some details, so I guess we'll probably hear a bit more in January. What I particularly thought you might be interested in, because you do have a bit of a reputation for having a go at it at the freestyle as well as the racing.
Oh yeah, freestyles. That's you talking about all the building guys.
They're working out how they're going to do international formal freestyle competition. I
love freestyle. That's like what I do. That's kind of what I'm known for. But I absolutely despise freestyle competitions. I hate them with all my heart and soul. I just there's no proper way. There's no proper way to judge them. Like freestyle, it's very personal, and everyone has their opinions, and it's just there's no like standardized way to do it. I don't think there ever will be.
Unless you freestyle a racetrack and first one who gets to the end wins.
Yeah, exactly. Do you guys do more freestyle than racing, or is it?
I try a bit of both. I've only just been doing freestyle for the last sort of 6 or 7 months. Not got very many tricks, but I am quite enjoying it now.
I've never actually done a race. In fact, I've only ever gone through one race course that I set up myself on the field. So I'd love to get involved in it. It just seems like such a, how does one go about getting into it? And it seems like a very lucrative thing to get in. Like it seems invite only in some cases, so I'd love to see it be more popular, as when you see these races happen, there doesn't seem to be a huge spectator base. It's more sort of about the pilots and
Right.
maybe the pilots will be vlogging their experience, but other than that, it's all sort of like, that's the feeling I get, that it's more sort of an online thing than something that you experience. Have you found that to be the case as well, being involved in it?
Yeah, absolutely. They're trying to break into, or the big race organizers and companies who are trying to get behind this and see if it's a viable spectator sport and something that can be produced. They're trying like desperately to get there, and it's proving to cost a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of just general investment. But it's getting there. It's slowly growing. Obviously, there's more and more pilots every day. But obviously, like you said, it's hard to get into drone racing. And if you're watching drone racing on TV and you have no idea what's going on, it's hard to become passionate about it.
That's the worst bit. More and more people makes me look more pants. That's the only problem I see about more people coming in. I look more rubbish every day.
I think for me as well, I think like you have to be really good at managing like stress and anxiety, I think, because I've been to races. I actually was at Weston Park and I watched Luke do a race, and I was sort of sat, you know, behind the fence kind of thing, and I'm hearing the beeps go as it starts, and like my heart's pounding for the guys, and I'm just watching. So I think do you get kind of, when you do races, do you get stressed, or is it like, do you actually find it fun, or what is your experience when it comes to that?
A little bit of everything. I mean, of course, when you start, like, it's where your fingers are shaking mad, and it's hard to control the drone. Like, you'll be doing all right on your own in a park by yourself, whatever, flying. And even it's like a fun thing, like it's a casual thing, but just that atmosphere and the competitive nature of racing and whatever, it's scary. It totally is. But you definitely get used to it, and then it just becomes a natural thing. But still, like, the energy is always there. But, you know, for Luke, the energy, the adrenaline that he experiences and feels, it's the same. It's just you get used to it and you learn to, I don't know, you know, compensate or whatever.
Zone out, maybe, sort of get in your happy place kind of thing before you do it.
Whatever, you just focus, just like anything else. And
you know when you die and you're supposed to have flashbacks, them beeps, I'm gonna hear them. Beep, beep,
that's the thing stopping me. That's the thing stopping me from doing it, because we've got some events coming up here in the UK. We've got the Drone Crusaders event, and I thought, oh, should I put myself forward? But then I thought, actually, I don't think I'd sleep the night before. I don't think I'd be able to enjoy it. So I thought, oh, I'll let Tony get stressed instead, and I'll watch him.
Come on, Andy.
You're my pick for it, Andy. So you're gonna be stressed, whatever.
Come on, Andy. I'm gonna try racing. I've forced Jack into trying to race.
I might have a go around the circuit, but I'll make a fool of myself, I'm sure, because it's like the racing side of it is so different to freestyle. Like how you have to have your camera angled, and you fly the quad completely differently, I find.
I'm not going to.
Oh yeah, so you're right. I mean, it's two different games, but they're both like so much fun once you get past that initial scary, and it's different.
Yeah.
Once you kind of get into it, it becomes just another drone thing, and it's awesome, man. You should try to go and get into it a little bit.
Do you kind of have secrets that like sort of get you ahead of other people that you wouldn't tell other people, like, oh, this is the optimum camera angle for getting around a track, or this is how you have your weight distribution so you can get off the line quick, or other things like that
or this is the pill you take before the race to calm you down. This is the green stuff you smoke.
Yeah, no, take a bunch of Adderalls before the race, and no, there's no secrets. It's kind of funny. There's no, like, generally, like, a general camera tilt in a competitive race, 5 degrees or 50 degrees, but it's all personal. It's all personal preference, and it's something you have to figure out. And
do you have any special clothes that you wear, like lucky fluffy pants or socks or any rituals? Because I like.
Do you, Tony?
I have to make sure when I have to sit down and fly because I can't stand up, especially racing, and I have to make sure things are out my pocket, and then I'm got to put my TX on my lap in the right position, and things like that.
Yeah, no, me too, totally. Like, nothing crazy. Like I don't race butt naked or anything, but
that could work. Totally,
you could definitely put some people off. I think get an advantage, maybe.
Speak for yourself.
No, it's kind of fun. Like the positioning of the radio, how it sits in your lap. It just comes down to what you're used to, and you want to be in your most familiar environment. Yeah, so
I find myself, the only sort of bit of racing that I've done was on the FPV event simulator before it became Rotor Rush. There was a load of sort of like top pilots' names who'd had a go at that. Like I think you might have been on there. I know Luke definitely was on there, and I was trying to beat his time, and literally like. I don't know if it was because of concentration or what, but I got with serious cramp in my hand.
Thumb cramp.
Just from straining, like, and like I'm like biting my tongue like this. You know, I'd be terrible at racing.
Dribbling and
I was dribbling. Yeah, no. I don't know what my point was there, but but like, do you have to, when you're doing your racing, do you have to sort of be conscious of that? Because or maybe is it just me, or do you get strained when you're going around the track because you've been so precise with the sticks and you put in a lot of energy through your hands, which you have to be sort of mindful not to sort of like cramp up your hands when you're racing?
Yeah, no, it does not happen to me.
Oh, yeah, that's just me. This is why I shouldn't do it.
It's so, yeah, no, again, it's the same thing. Like you get used to it, and when you're racing, you want to be as calm as possible.
Yeah. Do you practice on any sims?
I personally don't. It would probably help, honestly. I'm just not a huge fan of simulators. It's just not too realistic, but
yeah,
sure, it might help.
How's the weather where you are? Is it fairly reliable? Can you generally go out and get a battery in, or?
Yeah, you like the rain. Well, in the winter it's a little chilly. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia. I just moved here like 7 months ago or something. So it's pretty far south in the United States. So in the winter it's not too cold, and in the summer it's really hot. So
So you're now local to like Schizo and Steel and all those guys. Then was that the idea behind that?
I am not really. Do you know Nick Willard, Wild Willie?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm roommates with him, and
oh wow,
I moved in with him.
Oh, cool.
Because we're good friends.
Oh, that's good.
And then whatever, as a bonus, you also have Schizo and Steel and Kevin and
the gang.
Yes, sir, the gang.
Yeah, we're basically the UK version of that. That's who we are.
Definitely.
Right on.
Brighton to Fly has asked, Johnny,
are you guys all local to each other?
we haven't even met each other.
In respect to how big America is, we're local to each other. We're all, as soon as England's only 900 miles across or whatever, sorry, Great Britain 900 miles across, then we're all local. But I haven't met any of these people. I met Jack, and I missed Andrew.
We're at the same event, but we seem to always be at the opposite ends of the field.
That sucks.
The entire day.
Yeah, but we are hopefully going to meet up this weekend.
Fingers crossed.
Depending on the weather, because we've got a forecast snow here for all 3 days, which is typical.
In the UK, snow means everything stops.
Yes.
Time to get into your bunkers.
It's freezing.
People panic buy bread and milk, and that's it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Johnny, Brighton to the Fly, the
who's that guy?
The normal co-host on here, who we miss dearly, the Great Yeti. He asked, Don't you ever worry about getting your quad back from freestyling around the cranes if you ever crash?
I mean, I don't worry about it. Of course, if I did crash, it would probably be unrecoverable.
Hmm.
You could totally, like, now that it's kind of funny, I'm looking at that same complex where that crane is, the condo or building is nearly, it's at its full height or whatever, so it's pretty much finished. But you know, if I had crashed in those crane videos, it would likely be gone unless I wanted to trespass and like test my luck of navigating the building. But
Scary
um,
stuff.
Is it just a case of pull another one out the back? Who cares if it gets
Yeah.
lost, kind of thing? It's all about getting the
not at
footage.
all. I wish it was like that. Like I have great sponsors and supporters, but of course, one, you know, drone that's what, $400
Yeah.
out of their pockets, and then an additional $300 for my GoPro.
Yep.
So you know, I like to push the limits. I like to risk things and do things to try and whatever wow people, but never get too close. I don't know. Usually pretty aware of the surroundings. That's important.
So, who are your main sponsors then, Johnny?
For sure, my biggest sponsor is Airhogs, the toy drone company,
Yeah.
and they're really awesome to work with. And then the parts and manufacturers, got Lumenier, just came out with my brand new motor with them.
Yeah, I saw
There
that.
is Futaba, the radio manufacturer, switched to their radios maybe 3 or 4 months ago.
How are you finding them? Because it's not particularly common, at least in the UK.
It's not common. It's not common in the FPV community, but
No.
when I was flying
It
line
used
of
to.
sight for
Used to
20, I mean, everything was Futaba.
Yeah,
all you
yeah,
ever
everything
heard was
was
when I was a
Futaba.
kid. Futaba was
Yeah,
the best thing to have when you had a radio control
Absolutely.
car or whatever.
Yeah, I love them. They're super nice, obviously, and they're making a pretty big push into drone racing and the FPV community. They sponsored, there was a multi-GP International Open, which they were the title sponsor of. So they're definitely pushing, and they came out recently with some smaller receivers for racing drones, and I dig them. Man, that radio feels so nice in the hands. So
Yeah, I've still got a Futaba radio. I've had it for 20.
Oh.
They don't make it anymore.
Oh.
I've got it. I've had it for 25 years, and
Wow.
it still works and is in great quality. So they make good quality. Well, they used to make good quality radios. I don't know about now, but they're. I think the reason why it's not so popular in FPV is because like we break a lot of stuff and we're cheapskates. So the Tyrannus does a similar sort of thing. It's not as good quality, but it's S-Bus, and which Futaba is. I think that's where S-Bus came from, isn't it? Futaba originally. So I love Futaba. I'd love to. If Futaba, if you're listening, if you're after a sponsor, I'm not sponsored by anyone, but that's because I don't race. So.
It's Futaba. I think their protocol's quite fast, isn't it? I got told that it was Futaba.
It's called
Then-
fast, isn't it?
Yeah, and then Orange,
Awesome.
RX, and Tyrannus was the third one on the list for speed or latency.
Fairly certain Tyrannus is the slowest. Obviously, the
Yeah.
Tyrannus is
Mhm.
super reliable.
Yeah, the Fly Sky protocol is much quicker. The iBus
Really?
Fly. Oh yeah, there's if you look up Fly Sky versus Tyrannus, there's some I can't remember the chap's name, but like Fly Sky was way ahead of Tyrannus when it came to their iBus. So yeah, oh yeah, they've got some work to do. I think we just go with Free Sky because Bruce Simpson told us to some time ago.
They
Yeah.
are reliable though.
They are reliable.
Tyrannus can go, their stuff goes far, and I've never had a
Yeah,
single
you're
dropout. I've never
Well,
ever had anything drop out of the sky using that. So, but I did notice the latency from normal S-Bus to now using Crossfire.
Crossfire.
Oh yeah,
I
the
didn't
Sierra
think I
stuff.
would, but I definitely can.
The other
Oh,
thing with the Futaba stuff is they famously have very, very nice gimbals.
They do. They do, yes.
Yeah,
Just nice
that's
radio
definitely-
in general. nice quality, etc. Yeah. So Johnny, is it sort of frowned upon it if you're sponsored? Because I'm just asking because I don't know. If you're sponsored by someone like Futaba, you have to run all their gear. You can't run like a Tyrannus, or is it fine for you to run a Tyrannus as well, kind of thing?
Yeah, well, for my personal stuff, obviously they want me to run all Futaba, which I do, and that's, I run it because I like it.
Yeah,
it's really
sure.
awesome. But for DCL, for example, they require Crossfire, and the Futaba can do it, but only in the PPM protocol, which is obviously no bueno.
Sure. Yeah,
So,
sure.
so for like some of the big racing leagues, I use a Tyrannus, but
so are the majority of the sort of top
Yeah.
racer guys using Crossfire then in the races rather than like Free Sky now?
well, they're all using the Tyrannus radios just with the Crossfire on the back.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah, for sure. I would
yeah,
say because the lower latency, that's it's helpful in racing.
I could definitely tell the difference between going from one to the other. It was really weird, really weird.
Yeah, not as drastic as PPM to S bus,
No.
but almost.
But I was a beginner when it went PPM to S bus, so I nothing. It didn't really phase me. Can you tell us about your motors then? Because we just seen an advert for your motors, and that must be pretty exciting, have you? Did you design them?
Oh yeah, that
design
was
them yourself. And what made you go for high KV? Why do you like flying high KV?
For sure. So the project started over a year ago. Lumenier, the company, they are based, or Get FPV, they're based out of Florida in the United States.
Yep.
During the winter when it's super cold in where I then currently lived, or then previously lived, was Chicago, so super cold in the winter. So I went to Florida for vacation during the winter, went to the factory since they were one of my sponsors at the time, and talked about it and decided to go for a motor. Like, this is probably one of the things I'm most proud of so far in drones, to have your own name on a product. So super thankful for the opportunity they gave me, and took it. And I guess the first thing we decided was a 2207, just since the torque, it just flies a lot nicer. The motor is obviously a tiny bit heavier, but no one really cares. And they feel better in the air. They could swing bigger props, all that good stuff. And I guess we started out with a 2300 kV just because at the time that was the standard. Like a year ago, no one was running high kV. I don't know if you guys remember.
I do.
And then as things progressed, and I was flying every day, trying different things, I ended up running higher and higher kV. And as I went up, it just feels better in the air. There's more response, more authority, and if you can like control it, in my opinion, you just have a better experience. So the next thing we looked at, obviously, when you bring a product to market, you got to appeal to the masses. You can't just appeal to yourself. But Lumenier already had like a medium kV motor, the 2450 kVs. So I wanted to go what just best suited me, and we ended up on 2700 kV. And it's not as inefficient and as crazy as some other 2700s out there. If you like, are you familiar with the website Mini Quad Test Bench?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so the motor's on there, and you could see the results compared to basically every other motor in existence. So it's more comparable to a new or modern 2207, 2550, or 2600.
Yeah.
I think what I get from when I put motors on my channel is when we talk about these higher kV motors and the bigger motors, people are always worried about their batteries, but I think now for me the batteries almost become a disposable part of the quad, and it's sort of I tend to not care because I like the power. I tend to not care that like I can feel my battery dying as I punch it, kind of thing. But is that kind of the case you're finding with these bigger motors, that they're heavier on the battery, but that's fine because you replace the batteries quite often?
Right. Well, there's definitely a fine balance because the batteries, they are add up. And as you stated, a higher kV, it's definitely a lot harder on them. So the lifespan of the battery, of course, it's going to be a little shorter. Most of the time, not always, use it like so much and you push so hard. People are always pushing the limits, trying to do crazy stuff where destroying them before they limit of life cycles. The flight time, it's a little less on the high kV. I mean, they draw more amps at the higher throttle ranges. So, but again, for me, what you gain in flight feel and power and just overall authority, the 20 seconds of less flying.
Yeah.
So that's why I use it, and much it.
And are you running 4S, Johnny? Because like I'm seeing quite a lot now, 5S and 6S capable components. Yeah. So is this all on 4S that you're flying?
Use them on 5S and it was fine, but 4S is the prominent, I guess, choice in all of FPV. Still, it's still the most popular. So I think in a year or two we might actually see to be phased out a tiny bit through 3S.
Yeah, I've sort of seen that. So is there anyone running 5S, 6S at races at the moment?
Cap their voltage, like they have a max voltage to try and keep it somewhat fair, which in hindsight is kind of silly because it's whatever. It just
yeah, because you know you can run, say, I mean, this is my experience from with the micro quads. There's some 2S micro quads that have a ton more power than the 3S just because of the component setup, and it's the same. So yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? That capping the voltage where it really should be components really that are standardized if you're going to do that.
Even the weight of the weight of the drone, because obviously the ends up being way more important than just max thrust.
Yeah.
I think lightweight is the next thing. What's going to happen in racing? Everyone's talking.
It's already happened. I don't know. You guys familiar with like the hyperlight frame, RC?
Yeah, we've seen it, and I think that's the way it's going over here. I think we're a bit behind you, you guys in America, but
gotcha. But yeah,
we are
over
talking
here,
lightweight stuff.
Yeah,
so what weight do you run at then, Johnny, for your race setup? And is it different to your sort of freestyle setup, weight-wise?
Yeah, racing setups are usually more minimalistic. I'm not too picky, to be honest. There's some guys out there who are just like gram savers and they shave every tiny bit. But I guess the typical racing frame weight with everything on it besides just no battery or no HD camera, I think the standard is just over 300. And you could go to a super light build and go just under 300 as well.
Yeah, my floss is 270.
Okay.
So that sounds about right, about 300. Yeah, and again, me and Tony have discussed this before. When you go with the lightweight quads, some of the courses that require you to sort of loop over the top and stuff. Yeah. Actually, the quad's more floaty in those situations. So it might be that a heavier quad is more beneficial on certain race courses.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very interesting. A lot of guys, not a lot, but some of the guys who go to like all the races, they have an entire different fleet of, they have super light drones, they have super powerful and slightly heavier, and they have just everything to cover anything and everything.
Yeah, that's what you got to do nowadays. You got to turn up at a track, walk the track, see what you think, and then pick your medium quad, your light quad, your ultra light quad, or your heavy quad.
I wish
people were turning up with ridiculous amounts of drones now. They're like, "Oh, what one of the 10 shall I pick today?"
I find that weird because I'd have thought you'd need to be practicing on like the one you're going to fly with to have the what it's going to do.
Most people, they I guess people practice enough on all of them that they can kind of just jump to whichever one and have a general feel of what it's gonna feel. So it's not actually a huge deal. But of course, if you practice on 5 times more than a different drone in your fleet, you're going to be more consistent and stronger on that. But
Have you flown any stretched craft yet? I've just
stretch fin,
given yeah. What do you feel about stretched X stuff?
yeah, I prefer them for voice crack for racing. I think they feel really nice in racing.
I've
I
just
don't know how, but it's almost hard to sum up why they feel better. But it's just
I
a
feel
corner really.
They flow nicely around corners.
Apparently, I hear it's
Yeah.
because they're happier sat at a pitch forward angle, I think. But I can't tell the difference, honestly. I've got a few what I've started to call squished X, which is like the reverse of a stretched X.
The standard H.
And they fly exactly the same, so I can't tell the difference. But
Yeah.
I like it all the same. I think, yeah, switch it up. Why not?
Yeah.
What about what batteries do you fly, Johnny? Like, do you fly? Because there's been a lot of love in the chat for the R lines. I was wondering.
Yeah, R lines are probably the most popular, just because Tattoo. Well, they're solid packs, but Tattoo is they're pretty big and they do a good job at getting their batteries everywhere in the world. But I fly the Thunder Powers.
Okay.
They're a US-based company and they're good. Honestly, all batteries are quite similar, but I like the ones I use for sure.
And do you go for like the 1300s and for racing and 1500s for freestyle? Is what I've heard a lot, or do you fly something else?
I switch back and forth, but for racing, the most standard packs, unless on a super light drone, people are using 1300s, just because lighter, the more efficient it is. But I guess the standard would be a 1500 or a 1600, and then for freestyle, yeah, I believe like the quad always feels nicer in the air when it's lighter, so I'll go for a 1300 pack, and then.
Okay, I think that might be a result of me being more aware of guys at the UK races, and we seem to have quite small, as I'm sure Tony will complain about.
Small what?
Yeah.
I haven't got
The word that you said actually cut out, Andy. So it could have been you said. All I heard was about 10. Usually in the UK, we have small, and then it was quiet.
Yeah, and then my name, and I was like, thanks. I've never had any complaints.
Are we going to get on to Tony's 3-inch again?
Short race courses was what I was trying to say.
Short race courses. So we have smaller batteries. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So I'm guessing that's maybe where the difference is there.
Yeah, it could be. Could be that. I run the R lines. I really like them, and I put them through a lot of abuse. I think this is a. I think this is.
Isn't it?
I have to count 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a 6. There's a 6S. Yeah, I've been toying around with. It's really the results are really interesting for quads that will take. There's some quads out there like ready to flies that will take a 3 to 6S, and when I was the 5S felt like the sweet spot for me. But then when I did a speed test, so I've got a radar, an automatic radar tester that I've been doing some tests with, and actually the 6S always comes out the quickest, like straight line. We're talking straight line speed. I imagine around a course it'll be completely different, because there's there's a complete difference between straight line speed and like how long is it going to take to stop that model with a 6S and all the extra weight and stuff. But from a speed perspective, I've found that 6S, yeah, over 100 mile an hour on these 6S quads, which is phenomenal, really.
I've done 104.
You've done 104 with a quad or with your Integra Type R?
With a quad.
Have you? How do you know, Tony?
The Revo, we done it with a speed gun.
Did you? And that was a 4S.
4S, yeah.
That's pretty impressive, yeah.
What else was I was going to ask Johnny something? I completely forgot. Oh, do you watch Envo Astro do his torture tests on any of the batteries?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those. He's funny.
He is funny.
But I have, and some of the Thunder Powers have like absolutely failed.
his last Sugar Puff ones. That was quite
um,
comedic.
one of the reasons, like I think all of the tattoo packs, they have the little steel plates in them.
Mm.
Ah.
And I know the Thunder Powers don't. It saves a little bit of weight. And I think they actually just resent him. He did the Sugar Rush ones, and they puffed up. So I think Thunder Power sent him the identical packs back with plates inserted between the.
Yeah, that's right. He's yeah. I'm looking forward to that upload of his. I'm sure he's
That'll be interesting, actually, because
Yeah,
maybe all the cells are fairly similar, and it's just how barrier on the side keeps the tattoos from puffing. Who knows?
Who knows? But he's very aggressive with them. I mean, he takes them as soon as they land. He puts them straight on charge at 7 amp and high voltage. So
Oh yeah,
it's not exactly not exactly nice. I mean, when I'm racing and I want my packs ready again, I'm charging at 3 or 4 amps, but never 7.
yeah,
Not for one.
yeah. Me either. It's a little. It definitely hurts the batteries. But
Let's put do any of you guys in the chat want to ask any questions for Johnny?
I've got a question, Johnny. Have you got any events coming up before Christmas, or what's your next sort of challenge, should I say, when it comes to like, events and stuff?
I'm going to. There's one more thing I guess in 2017, I'm going to Japan for a little. It's like a 1v1, like the top pilot in Japan.
I love how you're just like, I love how nonchalant he is. Oh, I guess there's like, oh, there's just Japan, I suppose. Like that'd be like a major event for me. That's awesome. So it's a one-on-one, did you say, against Japanese pilots?
Right. It's very interesting. So in Japan, I've been 3 times this year. Luckily, I've been fortunate enough to get invited out there, and they're trying to grow the scene. The government's pretty strict with the regulations, but so there's a 1v1 Japan's top pilot versus me, and he'll probably destroy me. He's one of those guys who does the 3D heli. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Oh, absolutely.
I think maybe Zoe talked about him last week, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
There's a lot of them. His name is Oka. I think I'm not pronouncing it right. But whatever. These guys are just absolute prodigies. And, of course, he's amazing at the drone racing as well. So it's going to be for a TV program in Japan. That should be really, really fun. And it'll be cold there. But, yeah, that'll be freaking awesome.
Are there any other pilots from your team going across, or is it just yourself that's been invited?
No, it's literally just myself and that Japanese pilot.
Wow. It's almost like I'd pay to see that. We should have like a pay-per-view sort of thing. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Like a boxing fight, like, you know.
Yeah.
We had Johnny and Luke up against each other. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see that.
That would be fun.
Right, we got some questions in. Enoch says, Johnny, why not naked bottom motors?
Why not the naked bottom motors?
Yeah, why didn't you go naked bottom on your motors?
Yeah. So I prefer the look with the bottom on it. I guess there's really, so the benefit from no bottom obviously is it's a little bit lighter. And you could claim if there's no bottom, more debris and dirt and crap gets in there. I honestly don't think so. So I wasn't super concerned with making the lightest motor in the world.
No.
And it performs amazing how it is. So I think in future renditions, if there's ever like a 1.1 version or just a V2, I think we will go bottomless, but that won't be for a while. And yeah, I prefer the look.
Really... I'm not over keen on them, to be honest. But
the problem we have with those motors is that any field over here at the moment is basically a swamp.
Yeah.
So I spent 2 hours the other day removing mud from a motor, and
really?
So I like the bottomless motors, but as soon as you hit any mud, that's it. It's game over. take the motor apart. Hey, we've got Ash.
There you
Hello,
go.
Ash.
Where have you
Sorry,
been,
mate.
Ash?
Hey.
How you doing?
He's been
Yeah,
fighting. He's been fighting his YouTube guy who don't like him.
Hey, Johnny, how are you?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Very good. I'm a fan. I'm absolutely envious of the way you fly. Please don't watch my flying. It's horrific.
I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
Ash's channel is droning on if you want to check it out.
All right.
It's a great
Yeah, my
channel.
expertise is engineering because that's what I spend most of my time doing.
Watching it really quick. Okay.
Sherman G asked Johnny, "How do you feel about clones?" I think you mean clone frames, not clone sheep or anything like that.
clone
Yeah,
anything,
dummy.
components, frames, I guess. Yeah.
Obviously, it's terrible, and the main reason it's terrible is because it hurts the people who spend all the money investing and developing.
Yep.
So sometimes it's kind of hard to see the negative impact, but when you realize it's actually hurting people's life, it's you realize how bad it is, and yeah.
Yeah, it's not good.
I think on the other hand, though, it's also an avenue where a lot of people, like for a long time, I was buying stuff. I didn't even know it was a clone. I was just buying the cheapest I could buy. And so on the other hand, it's bad. But then you might find that actually when this person gets deep into the hobby, maybe they'll go and buy the race flight or the KISS and get the impulse frame anyway, because that's what I did. I bought clones, but I've got top spec stuff as well. So I don't know. It is obviously it's bad, but how do you stop it when
Yeah.
like, we're all cheapskates, I think. And from my experience of running a YouTube channel, if I do like a premium build, right, with all like top-notch components, proper components, it's the least popular of my videos because people don't want to spend that much, and they complain. They're like, this quad costs $1,000, and I'm like, yeah, well, that's how much you have to pay if you don't want to, if you don't want to go down the cheap and cloning route, and sometimes you end up paying double if you go down that route because they're not as good quality, and sometimes it's worth paying the extra.
Like the
Yeah,
old saying,
that's a good point. It's a good point.
buy cheap, buy twice. If you buy something that's very cheap, it's going to break at some point. But I do remember the first time I saw somebody racing a really well-spec quad and asking them how much did that cost, and they said £400. And I thought, ouch, I couldn't spend that. But the clone stuff is a good way of getting you into the hobby. But like anything, once you're into it, you realize the downside of cloning, and then you buy the better quality stuff because you know it's going to last.
Yeah.
I don't think cloning hardware will never replace the good quality stuff, but it's a good entry point. A little bit like you can't buy a Volkswagen Golf, so you buy a Skoda first because it's the same running gear, and then when you can, you buy a Golf.
I guess the argument there is that you've got the same of Golf and Skoda, and so they're literally the same parts but with a different badge on the front, a slightly tweaked code, so they're not quite as good. Whereas in this case, like Johnny was saying, some guy who's spent a year of his life and thousands of pounds getting another version of a frame or whatever, and getting loads of people to test them and get it right, and then someone else just like traces around it and starts making it.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of losing out that money.
Yeah.
I think it's important just kind of know when a clone is a clone, just that they can have that conscience behind them of that they want to support the people who've made this thing happen.
A little bit like your review of the X140, Andy, where at first glance you think it's a run cam on the front because it's
I couldn't believe it. I was like, where's the only thing that gave it away was there's no run cam logo on it, and I'm looking around And do you know what? Do you know what's funny about that review? Even today, people are like making stuff up. They're saying, "Oh no, it is a Runcam. It's just been licensed by Runcam." And I'm like, "No, I work with Runcam. It's a clone." People, because it's so close. You got it there, yeah. It's so close to a Runcam. People are actually going, "Oh no, this happens all the time. They've just sold the designs." No, no, that's a copy. It's £10 cheaper than the original. There's no way Runcam would let someone, you know, license their camera for £10 cheaper when it's exactly the same quality. So yeah. But then Runcam, we've talked about this before, Runcam is guilty of cloning stuff themselves. So it's kind of like, it's kind of you know, that we can't buy the Runcam 3 in certain places because it's a clone of the GoPro. So you know, sometimes I guess there's a bit of karma that's gone on there in some. I shouldn't say that. I've got a very good relationship with Runcam. If you're listening, Runcam, buy the original Runcam.
There you go. BSM Weber in the chat. What's up, Paul and Thomas? How you doing, guys? Morning, should I say?
I've seen a lot of pictures from them. I think they've been hanging around the T-Motor headquarters from the videos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
pictures I've seen. Yeah.
Nice.
Have you ever raced with Thomas, Johnny?
Yes, a couple times actually. He was at the Dubai race.
Of course, yeah.
I think that was the first time I ever met Thomas, and then he started, you know, becoming super freaking good, and he won the International Open. I think 2 races at the International Open.
Yeah,
2 races, and then
is it possible to sort of make a living? Obviously, if you're very good, is it possible to make a living off these races? I saw a bit of chatter. I don't know if it's on Facebook that the first Dubai race. I mean, I think it was the winning prize was like $200,000, and then there was I saw a lot. I think it was Steele that mentioned that, like, they never saw a lot of the money or something like that. Is that an issue with some of these events, or has that changed since the first one?
no, it wasn't. It actually wasn't ever an issue. I guess it was, but it took them a while to send all of the money. Obviously, it was quite a significant amount. But yeah, I mean, the Dubai prize was 250 grand, and that was Luke's winnings, and the X-Blades team split it between themselves.
Wow.
And
they only got about a $5 each because there's 100 of them.
It was. They had I think 11 or 9 teams of like 4 pilots each. But it is possible to make a living winning races. It is very difficult. I think there's only a handful of guys who have managed to do it. Like, there's this kid in Korea. He's the best drone racer in the world, in my opinion. Min Chan Kim.
Yeah, he is
And
brilliant. I've seen his line of sight stuff, and it's amazing.
Right. He pretty much wins like 75% of the races he goes to, maybe even more of that. And some, like in Korea, in Asia, the prize pools are quite big. So if you're in the right places and you have the support to get to races like the top guys do, you can make a living for sure. But it's again very difficult.
When you've got people like that you're racing against, Johnny, how does that affect you? Like, does it drive you to get better and better, or at some point do you start to feel, I'm never going to beat this guy? How does it feel?
Yeah. With a kid like Min Chan, you get the feeling that you're never going to beat him. I mean, for sure, you could beat anyone like on any given day, but you're the actual chance of beating Min Chan realistically is probably 5%. But of course, it drives you, man. I do this full time. You know, I would call myself more of a freestyle pilot, but I'm also, you know, racing is going to help me do this for a long time. So it drives you. It definitely, you got to be competitive.
Well, Dubai spent more money on their racetrack than they did on pilots, didn't they? I mean, I heard the racetrack was $6 million.
Wow. Oh yeah, I mean, they're obviously, Dubai likes to do everything the biggest and the best, and yeah, they shelled out for sure.
We're in the wrong business, Tony. Did you get that amount from doing the podcast? I certainly. I'm just kidding.
I get nil pois.
I'm just kidding. What I was interested to know though, because for years I followed Formula One, and some of the drivers are best friends with each other, and some of them hate each other. Is there any element of that in it? Like, oh, I hate that guy because or like if you crash into each other, is there any of that, or is it because it's such a
I think there's mostly love. You know, obviously this sport was built online. It was built on the forums and Facebook and, you know, all the social media. So everyone feels really close to one another, even though most people don't meet each other until they go to a big race. So there's not too much hate, definitely not.
That's great, yeah. And do you think it'll ever be as big as like F1? Can you see it?
It's really hard to say. Honestly, probably not. But at the same time, you see e-gaming, like you know, what is it called? Whatever. Esports, right? And that took a while to build up. It didn't become huge overnight. And in places like Korea and Japan, it's on TV. It's a very popular thing to watch on television, and obviously, the top gamers make a lot of money. So FPV is only what, 3 years in? And it's already on ESPN in the United States and big channels elsewhere in the world. So it's really too early to tell.
I think if you think about it as well, going back to clones, it does get more people interested because it's affordable. I mean, you can go out and buy a cheap clone, an Eoshin FPV quad with goggles and everything for under £50, $50 now. It gets people interested in it, and that will get more people wanting to watch it.
For sure.
And then sponsors will want to sponsor it. I think in the next 5 to 10 years, we'll see FPV racing with these amazing tracks as popular, maybe, as football on TV as it is in England right now. Because this is the new generation sport.
Right.
No, I'm old. But, you know, guys like you, young guys, this is like the sport of the future. You're not playing football anymore at lunchtime. You're flying your quads.
Exactly. It'll keep growing for sure, man. It's going to be a wild ride, and who knows?
So do you think X-Class is the next big thing? Because obviously...
Oh, yeah, I do. X-Class or anything, big drones, they're for sure. It's I don't know if you guys have seen them in person, but when they're built up at like full, you know, capacity and speed, it is the sickest thing I've ever seen. The only downside is it's too dangerous, and it's too dangerous. That's
Would you get involved in that, Johnny? If you were asked to?
I would love to. I would love to. Did you guys see the thing did you see the thing in New York when they raced the Titan drone against the Formula E car?
Yeah, that was it just blasted it away, didn't it? Amazing.
It blasted it away. It increased, or it accelerated to over 100 miles per hour in under a second, and it sent the crowd into a frenzy. It was nice. Incredible.
Wasn't there a flyaway with one of them as well? A big crash?
It crashed at the end.
He crashed at the end, and ESC or something exploded. That's what I'm saying. There was about 500 to 1,000 people in the crowd, 10 feet away where it crashed. It could have killed someone.
It could have been bad, but it wasn't.
It wasn't.
The thing is, though, you know, it's the same with any kind of racing, though, or any kind of, you know, I've been going to model flying, you know, before FPV. I went to model flying events, and on the ticket it says, you are here at your own risk, you know. So it's the same with the Formula One, you know. Spectators have been killed, so I don't see why drones should be any different in that respect.
That's true. I just think right now it goes beyond that. It's like if you go to an event, an X-Class race, there's a 50% chance of death.
But you can have your sponsors written on the side of them because they're that big, and they're better for spectators.
Exactly, and they're super loud, super visible.
Yep. Who's going to want to sponsor it if it's going around killing people? Like, boop.
That's the appeal of it.
That's what they're trying to figure out.
Danger.
The last thing you want to see is a big arm through someone's chest and then a sponsor's name down the side.
Funeral directors.
Nobody wants Formula One for the crashes.
Yeah,
that's true, man.
It's true.
I'm looking forward to X-Class coming over to England.
Well, it's got to get over here quick, hasn't it?
I haven't got room for them. They're too big. That's one thing I love about. I mean, I'm building smaller copters, not bigger ones.
Yeah.
They're too
winter here, isn't it? So we have to go tiny loop and
But that's a good point, though.
stuff.
Johnny,
what
if
I'm flying at the moment.
Johnny, do you
Tiny.
fly any tiny whoops, or the other thing that's been popular with us recently is the 3-inch sizes, or even less?
Poland, yeah. I flew tiny whoops before.
Before it was cool.
When I first started, I flew a Horizon Hobby. Are you guys familiar with Horizon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, the Blade and the Blade Nano QX. And
Yeah.
now, when I'm bored, I'll mess around with the Airhogs, and they're fun to crash around and just fly inside. But I actually haven't ever flown, or I have flown a 3-inch, but didn't really fall in love with it. Do you guys like the small stuff?
Yeah,
The,
so particularly in the past couple of months, it seems to really picked up.
Oh yeah, I
over
mean,
here.
during the winter for sure they get popular.
Yeah.
I think there's been a shortage of decent props for 3-inch as well, and now we're just seeing
Oh
decent,
yeah,
decent props come out, and it's really taken up. Like literally 50% of the stuff that's coming through my channels are 3-inch at the moment. So I think you know, from like the builds that I've done, it's the size that hits that 250-gram sweet spot. Like they're usually just like 1 gram under 250 grams. So I think that's
yeah.
I think that's why they're becoming popular. But did you see Bruce? I'm trying to think. Was it Bruce Simpson's video that said that talking about the kinetic energy now that they create rather than the weight? So it depends like how fast if your copter's under 250 grams, but if it's traveling at 100 mile an hour, it could still kill somebody. So that needs addressing.
Oh gosh.
It's getting crazy. Yeah, that's one thing I don't like about all of this is the victimization that we have to put up with. You
Yeah.
know, it's almost like they're being treated like dangerous weapons, but they're not really. I mean, maybe some of the big ones, but they're not like guns, are they? You know,
Depends who's flying it, Andy.
that's true. Yeah.
What about these X-Class? I mean, that's the other thing. The CAA won't like that because I'm guessing they are pretty heavy. What's the weight of an X-Class racer?
True,
Free stone.
Free stone. Johnny's not going to know what stone is.
I don't know what stone is really.
You ain't that much older.
No,
Younger.
no.
I bet they're over a kilogram, but maybe maybe
Well, the
even
battery's
more.
8S and it's pretty huge.
Oh, the battery's over a kilogram.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think on the thing they used in New York, I think they had it was a 12S. I'm trying to remember this.
Wow.
I think it was a 5,000, or I think there was 4 5,000. So I think it was 20,000 milliamp 12S.
I could run my house on that.
Very good, actually. Yeah, man.
So just out of curiosity, Johnny, where are you based?
I'm out of Atlanta, Georgia, currently.
So from your side of the pond, where do you get your stuff from? Where do you buy what's your go-to place for buying stuff?
He doesn't need to. He's sponsored.
No. Some like when I buy little bits and pieces of whatever, it's usually check Amazon because Amazon, of course, it's super fast shipping, but Get FPV.
Yeah, I really like Get FPV. In fact, I buy stuff from them. It's just that the shipping costs a fortune. But I like a lot of the Lumenier batteries and obviously the motors as well. So yeah, Get FPV I think you said based in Florida, aren't they? Get FPV. Yeah, I really like those.
Not on the coast. Where's the best place you've flown? What country is the best? Because I've seen you flown in Iceland.
Yeah, dude, Iceland, that might take the cake. That is, has anyone here been to Iceland?
Yeah, no, but seeing the videos was like,
it's
wow.
Crazy. It's even crazier in person. It's like just this, it's epic. That's the, if you're not into like outdoorsy stuff, maybe it's not the best place in the world, but if you're into like nature and just fucking, it's epic, man. The cliffs, the waterfalls, there's, geysers, everything.
Yeah, it does look really nice.
What are the rules like out there, or is that not
the what? Sorry.
What are the rules like out there, or do you just kind of
nothing to worry about? I think only 300,000 people live in Iceland, so it's an island. It's quite small, but the population is very small as well. So you're never really running into trouble out there.
Dynamite Girl asks, Are Johnny's sponsors for his racing or his freestyle?
Both, yeah.
Both. Cool.
And you do this full time, so are you studying?
I would say I'll take that back. I would say mainly for freestyle, since that's where I, you know, put myself out there. I guess that's where
Yeah.
people see me,
That's
and
what
then-
you're best known
Right.
for. Yeah.
and that just feeds into racing.
Cool. So any Johnny frames coming out or anything like that?
Maybe my favorite. What I currently fly is the Astro X X5,
Okay.
and it's I love it. I love the damn thing. It's super sexy. I really like a frame that looks dope, and the carbon is incredible on it. So.
Is that top mount? Have you flown top mounted and bottom mounted? And what would you prefer for
Yeah, for sure.
either?
For freestyle, well, I guess for everything almost. Top mount, it has a more like almost you're in control feel, and then bottom mount is almost like the quad is pulling you. But most guys or most racers actually bottom mount.
They do, don't they?
They do, yeah. So it's preference for sure, but I think overall top mount gives you a little more control.
Yeah.
Johnny, was it yourself? I might have my references completely wrong here, but was it yourself that first came up with the idea of the soft mounting the motors? Am I correct?
I didn't come up with it, of course. I think I said in that video, like an idiot, I said I came up with it. Just 'cause I wasn't thinking, but for sure, people in drones and like big drones before mini quads were popular, they soft mounted their motors to deal with vibrations.
Yeah.
But I guess I made it popular.
You did make it popular, and I loved how smug you were when Joshua he proved that it actually was a thing. And I soft mounted anytime I've got mid throttle oscillations now. My first point is to soft mount the motors, and you did it, Tony, as well, didn't you? Did it fix your fix your problem?
Well, I have.
Oh, you've got multiple problems.
Yes.
Tony.
I am swapping out my FC tomorrow because I've swapped a motor out, which Raceflight said, "Oh, you've got a bad motor. It's this one. This is your vibration." I swapped that and soft mounted it, and it was all right, but the vibration seems to have come back, and it's really starting to annoy me. So I'm hoping it's the FC. When I'm flying a straight line, the rear of my quad starts to overtake the front.
Are you sure you're just not putting full pitch in, Tony, when you're
Oh, I'm hoping it's my gyro's gone. That's why I'm just putting a new FC in tomorrow. So if it's not that, then I've got a problem with my crossfire.
I'll tell you what, the soft mounting caught on so much that even the new Lily drone, and I'm sorry to bring up a drone rather than a racing quad, but even the new Lily drone, the entire chassis is soft mounted between the motors and the flight controller and the circuitry. It's pretty impressive actually, but that's how much it's caught on. Even regular drones are soft mounting now.
Yeah, he started a trend, Johnny did there. Yeah, absolutely.
Was the Lily? Was that the thing on Kickstarter that failed?
Yeah, that's the one. Well, I don't know if it failed, but Ash will tell you what happened with it.
It failed. Company bought the name. They released a new drone under the same name. But I'll tell you what, it's quite clever how they've done it. I'll dig it out in a minute.
Johnny, do you have any copters that aren't race drones? You know, like do you have a Phantom, or are you interested in that sort of thing?
I had a DJI Mavic for one flight, and it was too windy. Took it up when it was gusting.
Oh no!
Oh no!
It flashed up, windy on the and flew
it
away.
It exploded.
No.
So I currently have a unique Typhoon H that I was. They
Wow.
Whatever, they sent it to me. I was super happy to get it, and I haven't actually had a chance to use it yet. But
that's a pretty lucrative bit of kit to receive. I really wanted to try one out, but they are super picky with who they send those out to. So
that's the European one, Andy. The European branch don't send them to anyone, but the Americans seem much more generous.
Interesting. Well, I'll be looking out for that review, Johnny.
You're gonna have to move, Andy.
It might not be very clear on here, but if you see the whole body of this drone, so the motors, the arms, etc., are all completely suspended. So you can see the soft mounting in here. So the actual body, the chassis, the flight controller, the circuitry is all separate to the motor. Making it pretty clever for a consumer drone.
I remember back in the day, a year or so ago, soft mounting never did any of that. Used to just hard mount my FC, and who cares? It used to fly fine.
It's
I
kind
got
of
told off for soft mounting. Like on my first quads that me and Jack have pulled apart a couple of years ago. Soft mounted the flight controller on some latex foam. Done like, and then everyone was like, "Why are you doing that? It's a stupid idea. You're gonna have terrible performance." And
it's one of those things, like Johnny says, it's something that's come full circle in that with the bigger quads, like the 450 size, when they were running like Pixhawk and stuff, very, very susceptible to vibration. So you'd have to soft mount the flight, and now we got to the point where the race quads are so sensitive. So yeah, soft mounting is not a new thing, but Johnny definitely made it a thing, which is cool. I wanted to ask Johnny, what is juicy flying?
Oh God, it's kind of funny that word has become. I thought it was like, you know, fun, like silly little word to use, but it's become so overused that I absolutely despise it.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. No, it's but what is it? I guess it's just like groovy. I don't know, like grooving through the air, man. I don't even know.
Kind of like skateboarding through the sky kind of thing.
Yeah, something like that.
Sort of register juicyflying.com. That's great.
Wait, someone else.
Juicy?
Is that a thing? Juicyflying.com?
We're all Googling it now.
You need to be really careful when Googling the word juicy.
I'm just watching your video, Johnny, where they detonated the NFL stadium.
Oh, that was so cool.
Blimey, if you lost your quad there, it'd take some time to find it, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. You wouldn't want to go in there.
Video.
Probably be just a lot of debris that you could potentially like slice yourself open on. So
yeah. Did you have access to the actual site, or were you from the outside flying in and you couldn't get in there if you did lose a quad?
There was a little fence. You could probably hop over it, but we were outside. Yeah.
Amazing video. Beautiful quality as well on that camera.
Oh yeah, the GoPro. It's in good lighting. It's actually a pretty awesome camera.
Yeah.
I want to go over it. I don't know if you noticed behind it, but there's the current stadium that they just recently built and finished.
Yeah.
It's in the background of when I was flying, but I want to combine the two, to like surf the current stadium into the ruins. It would be epic.
Is GoPro a sponsor of yours, Johnny?
Actually, as of recent, sort of. I get to do this pretty awesome thing in a couple months, or more than a couple months.
When you say awesome, does it involve this guy? I've got one of these guys that I'm sitting on. It's the 360. It's the 360 camera.
No way, the GoPro one.
You have one?
I have one. This is it.
That's like £700, isn't it?
Yeah, I need to try it out.
I haven't tried it yet.
Because I've done a couple of 360 videos. It's something I'm really interested in, and I thought that this would change up FPV, but it's really expensive. Like Ash was saying, it's like having the price of like, well, what is it, like
2 quads in the air at once.
£700. I'd have to sell my son to buy one of them, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I was asking. I was wondering if you'd had the chance to check out the 360 or anything like that.
I probably will, just because it's so like drastically different and awesome, the software, what it can do.
Yeah, I'm really interested in it. I should do something with it, but I know I'm always complaining about the weather, but like it's dark by 3. Like your usable light in the UK, I mean, probably the same. It was probably the same in Chicago. By 2:30.
Yeah,
it's like you can't use the light from a GoPro after 2:30. Anyways, and then if it's not raining or blowing a gale, you're lucky.
Or snowing, Andy.
Or snow. Apparently, I should look outside, because apparently we should
have a quick look. See if it's snow.
We should have some snow.
Give us a weather update.
Let's have a look. No, there's no snow yet. We don't have anything yet. So Google is wrong on that.
I'm going to burning of the clocks in Brighton. Did I say that right? Clocks. Burning of the clocks in Brighton on the 21st. So
What's that about?
Everyone carries lanterns all down onto the beach, and then you burn the plastic, or sorry, not plastic, paper clocks, because it is the shortest day of the year, and then it starts going back towards summer.
Yeah.
Hooray.
Winter solstice is called.
Get your quad out and fly around it when they do that. That sounds great.
I might film it from the air because
Wait
you're
a
allowed,
minute.
you're allowed to fly on the beach.
Did you say they are like lanterns that fly? Did you, Tony?
No, they're just lantern that everyone just piles on a bonfire, and then they have fireworks and stuff like that. It's just sort of saying winter's over, summer's coming back towards us.
Yeah, they do a thing at Stonehenge, don't they? I think, or is that the
Yeah.
summer? Is that
That's
the summer one?
the summer solstice. Yeah, I want to
Load of hippies go and
I'm
worship.
gonna go
In Brighton,
Hippie
definitely
this year.
more alcohol involved, I'm sure.
Well,
a bit more than alcohol.
I think it's probably time to call it for the podcast, at least. As always, we can leave the YouTube stream running, but for all the guys listening on SoundCloud and iTunes and Mixcloud and Stitcher and Streamer and all the other ones that we're podcast up onto, thank you for listening to this week of Let's Drone Out. Johnny FPV with Andy RC. Ash has joined us at the end. Tone Star has been with us, and I'm Frank/Andrew, depending on what you feel like. Thank you for listening, and tune in again next time when Ash is going to be bringing on the assistant market, or is assistant. His title was now
Communications director for the CAA.
There we go.
Yeah, I might be busy for that episode, Ash.
Apparently I'm ill.
It's like the police. Our police are turning up to the podcast.
He's a really, really good guy, and he's very, very much drone friendly. So he wants to make this a better place for drones. And
all the guys that I've met at the CAA are all lovely people who couldn't give a rat's ass about us.
But at the same time, they're secretly writing your name and address down.
Frank said arse. Frank said arse. Timestamp.
Yeah.
It's fine because the podcast's over. That's why he doesn't have to edit it out now.
Yeah, it's still fine. Sorry for stuffing you in your chat flow like that, but I thought I'd call it.
Good idea. I think at the hour and a half mark, it starts to go downhill, doesn't it? And we start to talk about how the Earth is flat and things.
The lawnmowers and stuff.
We haven't talked about lawnmowers in quite a while. That was a good few episodes ago.
I want to thank Johnny for coming on because I've just bombarded him with nonsense questions. So thanks,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for answering them, Johnny. I appreciate it.
Anytime, man.
I'm going through your entire video collection now, Johnny FPV.
Oh, you just get mad at yourself and hate your flying, want to take all your YouTube down and smash your quads up.
I noticed, Johnny, you've got a huge presence on Instagram, right?
Yeah, Instagram is, I guess, number 2 to Facebook or to YouTube.
How did that happen? Just people sort of word of mouth? Because and which do you prefer? Do you prefer YouTube or Instagram? Because similar follower numbers on each, I guess.
Yeah, a little bit more on YouTube. YouTube is definitely I guess more of a home for social media because it's just much more in depth. Whatever, it's on the computer, and the videos you could produce them much more heavily on the computer, and then whatever it's directly on the computer. And Instagram more just photos and it's fun. I don't know.
Yeah, but you got a huge following on there. Did that?
Yeah, I cross post most of my stuff, and so that definitely helps. But Instagram's cool. Like a lot of people, it's probably the most popular social media. Honestly, people just scroll through their phones 24/7. So
yeah, it is, isn't it? I was really surprised at that. There are some, especially some of the female pilots out there have a huge following on Instagram. Then their YouTube not so much. It seems that Instagram's almost taken over, which was why I was sort of asking the question. I need to get much better at Instagram because
Yeah,
I'm
definitely-
old. I don't understand it.
definitely helps to like post frequently. I don't know how much it actually helps, but if you have content that you just have like laying around, just use it up. Try and post every day, whatever.
Yeah.
Man.
But equally, I think also that I saw you using that new feature on YouTube, Andy, the other day, where you've now got like a post facility on YouTube. Rather than
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that, if I'm honest. I'm worried about it. So basically, yeah, YouTube, I don't know if you know this, Johnny, if you've used the feature yourself, but YouTube have added something called community posts. And I first saw this probably about 6 months ago when they gave it to like the PewDiePie and the huge YouTubers first.
Oh yeah. To
And
test it.
so basically, there's an option now on YouTube where you can basically use it like Instagram. You can post a picture, you can you can just post a link.
Oh, and people get what, notifications for it?
Yeah. So well, it's the same as a video. So if you're
Oh, okay.
if you're looking in your subscription list, you can see the videos.
Oh, really?
And then it'll come up with like your picture. My worry is that you're going to have to, because it's going to become popular. What's great about YouTube is it's all video content, and
Right.
I would hate it to get to the point where you have to fish to find the videos.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it kind of turned into Facebook.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I'm worried about. I used it, but I'm worried about it at the same time.
Don't you have to have over 10,000 subscribers to use it? So I need another 9,400 and
Well, so NJ was saying, but I thought it was something they were rolling out. Because
apparently, but you need 10,000 subscribers, so I'm a long way away as well, Tony. Don't worry. But I think the problem is if you misuse it, you could end up losing a lot of subs, like you say, Andy, because
People get pissed.
Yeah, people on YouTube are on YouTube because they don't like the Facebook interaction element. They just want video.
I don't want it to be like, oh, here's a picture of my dog, like, you know, when you're an FPV channel, here's a picture of my dog licking its nadgers or something, you know, you don't want that.
is that what I'm doing wrong?
But yeah, it's a good idea.
Here's my dog eating curry.
It's interesting. I think I saw someone say, oh, I found a way to filter it out. So I think if they worked on that, so you can just ignore those posts, because YouTube needs to stay video, doesn't it? You know, somebody commented on one of my pictures, oh, it's you pick now, is it, kind of thing. So you know, some people
Well, it's
like
because Google owns YouTube now. That's what's happened.
Oh well, yeah, but I think they're just trying to. I think, you know, what we're talking about is it which you prefer, Instagram or YouTube, and I think that's YouTube's reaction to Instagram, probably, that they're worried that it could eventually take over. I mean, it has the potential, you know. So
there is a good place for it as well, because, for example, you put live a review and you've got part 2 coming up soon, and for some reason you can't film that part 2, and people ask you every week, where's part 2? You've got no way to communicate with those users on the YouTube platform other than commenting on the video, but they don't all get a notification of that.
yeah.
So I do like the idea of the post mechanism, because that Lily, for example, can't film part 2 because all I get is a black screen on the live feed. So it's waiting for a firmware update. I can't tell anyone that other than commenting or posting on Facebook. But your YouTube audience is very different to your Facebook and social media audience. So I like the new feature, but I can't get it yet. So Andy,
you will soon, Ash. I'll give you a couple of shout outs, maybe.
Oh, you good man.
Just send me over like $100, and I'm kidding.
Deal. All right, you send me I'll send you $100.
I kind of thought what would be useful though. I thought I could say, well, I'm on the LDO podcast in 10 minutes. Come and watch. But then the problem is you know, you'll have all of my subs asking me questions, which I don't know if that's a good thing, because we want to ask the guest questions. So but Tony, you let me know. I'll plug it if you want me to.
Yeah, plug away, mate. Plug away.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
Yes, Sunday.
Ash has just put my little. I need 3 more subs to hit 500, and he's put my little thing in there. Thanks, mate.
Oh. The event on Sunday. So who is going on Sunday?
We don't
Hopefully.
know. We don't know, Ash.
We're worried about the weather.
What, we're inside in a pub, are we?
Yeah, but it's
Half
how do you get there when your car's stuck in the snow is the issue.
Oh, and it's about you need to move to the south, honestly.
Oh, this again.
I've got 200 horsepower, no, 220 horsepower going through the front wheels in the snow. That won't be fun.
What, in a car? It's like Uber that you drive yourself, isn't it?
I love hey, that's a great joke. That's my favorite joke Andy's ever said. Because Andy lives in London, and when we were offline last week, he said, "What cars? That's like an Uber that you drive yourself." I love it. Amazing, amazing joke. My favorite joke ever, I think. We don't have Uber here. We're so
What?
remote.
You don't have Uber. That's like not having broadband.
I've never had a Uber. Never.
I only have dial-up taxis.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, we just drive our cars here. But yeah, we don't really have many buses up here either. So.
The only problem with Uber is it's very easy when you're a little bit drunk. Not that we ever get drunk, because we're all very sensible people here, but you don't notice that Uber have a surge period on where the pricing is like 10 times as much. And because it comes straight out of your PayPal and you crawl out of the taxi drunk back into your house, it's only the next day that you realize you've been screwed over. But we don't get drunk, do we, guys?
No, I just got another
Still is.
subby.
If,
Two
I,
left.
if I'm that drunk, I probably just end up walking home in all honesty.
You mean
From
crawling?
Coventry. I'm not walking 2.5 hours home.
Gonna take more than 2.5 hours to walk to Croydon from Coventry, isn't it?
Yes.
You won't make it that far, Andy. You just won't.
Not in the snow. Be awful.
Well, we have no snow yet, but apparently we've got 10 centimeters coming tonight. Which
Well,
I'm
it is
not
the
really-
Are you joking?
Wow.
up
it's not gonna
here.
be 10.
Up here in the north, which is an hour and a half away from Coventry, we're supposedly getting 10 centimeters. Apparently, they said that it was going to start snowing at 8 o'clock and it's going to stop snowing at tea time tomorrow, so 5 p.m. tomorrow. But we haven't had any here yet, so it's the news, isn't it? They love to like it's drama to them. We probably won't get
Oh,
any.
by the way, Johnny, everyone does have tea at 5 p.m.
It's not a meme. It's true.
It's tea
It's
time.
all true.
Yeah, but does Johnny know that tea means food and not actual tea? That's confusing. I'm still confused by that.
Like tea and crackers.
Tea
Yeah,
and
tea and crackers.
Like tea and crumpets.
cake. Tea and crumpets.
All right, guys, I'm gonna get out of here.
Cheers, Dave.
All right,
thanks
thanks for
very
coming.
much.
Cheers, Johnny.
Thanks for having me. Peace.
Thanks so much for coming on, Johnny.
Anytime.
Johnny, can you crash a few more times in your video, please, to make me feel better?
Yeah, I got you, bro. I got
Good
you.
man.
All right, peace.
Peace.
Yeah.
Well, he was very nice.
He was awesome. He was awesome.
Yeah.
And the fact that he said he was a fan of me, that now I'm just like, that's amazing.
He started watching you 2 years ago.
I know, that's when I started, yeah.
You were his Chad Kappa.
Yeah, I'm like his inspiration. You're welcome, world.
Your hat's stretching. I think it's riffing.
What?
You get a big head.
Oh yeah. No, that guy has clearly done so much better than me. So that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm just planting the seeds,
I think you have a future as just FPV racing mentor or something like.
I'm not sure about racing mentor, but I probably enabled him in spending a lot of money.
Enabler sounds not as good.
No, not quite. No, but I'm fine with that. No, what like a level-headed, awesome guy, and I was just throwing like all my fanboy questions at him, and he was like answered them like a champ, which he is. So that's awesome.
Jack in the chat says that to stop talking about the weather, you're banned from doing that.
What did he? Yeah, I am. Yeah, I've had. How's Jack? He's not doing too great. He's in hospital, unfortunately.
Oh man, didn't know you were still there. Get well soon, mate.
Yeah. We wish he was here. He sort of brings the ridiculousness to the show that it needs.
Yeah.
To the point, if he can sit there in the chat window, he can definitely live stream from his bed. I'm not sure if we want to see. I'm not sure if it's something we could put on the channel. It might need a warning, but
I would love that, but no, you shouldn't do that when you're sick, I guess.
no. I'll get well soon, Jack.
His fellow ward mates might not be too impressed if he starts going on at the screen.
Yeah, he's sort of lying in his bed, and we've got him shouting at Tony through the
He'll be
stream.
shouting at me Saturday. I was going to see him tomorrow, but I think he's having something done tomorrow, so I'm going to get shouted at on Saturday.
It just sounds horrible what he's going through, and somehow he's managing to get through it. So
Everyone throw their love at Jack.
absolutely.
And yeah, all the comments, like when the videos are up, comment on how much you're missing Jack and how he needs to come back, or you'll go away because we're too dull and we're just sensible and talk about drones, and that's
You
not
know
the way
it's getting
is meant to go.
You know it's getting desperate when Andy says arse and like it's a commotion. You know? Andy's like he's like the most sensible one of us, and he's the one that's trying to create the atmosphere. But yeah, we're just not as good at Jack. It just knows the right words to say, or should I say the wrong words to say
Yeah,
at
normally the
the
wrong
right
ones.
time.
Normally the wrong ones.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I do miss the old Git or the old Yeti. He'll be back. Give it a couple of months.
It'd be awesome for us all to meet up when Jack's back on form, I think.
But yeah,
You'll have to travel again then, Andy. How are you going to cope?
That's fine. If we organise it in Coventry, Coventry's fine for me. It's
What if you have to travel further? Because oh God, Curry Kitten was going to come, but he don't want to travel so far. I mean, I've offered for him to come to mine, and then we come up, but he's down in Southampton.
What is it with you lot of travelling? Are you all allergic to travelling?
Oh look, Jack's joined the video chat.
What's happening? What's happening?
Jack. He has to whisper.
Right, you little bastards.
Jack.
Oh, how are you, mate?
I'm slowly dying.
Oh, Jack, it's nice to hear your voice again. We missed.
Slowly dying.
I know I should not be doing this, but like everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my god, what is wrong with this guy?" I already got in trouble for trying to
Everyone gone to
put
bed.
me light bulb.
Jack's
on
under his
speakerphone, Jack?
covers.
Hang on, let me stick my headphones in.
I was going to say, whilst we're on hands, someone shout something rude.
You're meant to go to sleeping hospital at like 8 o'clock, aren't you?
They make you go sleep at like 2 o'clock midday for naps and stuff. I feel like I'm institutionalised.
You sure
Oh,
it's
man.
the hospital?
I'm waiting for
Home.
I'm waiting for gas to come out the shower. That is so inappropriate.
How are you-
Sorry, it's the drugs.
How are you feeling, Jack? How are you doing?
Well, I can only describe that I feel like a run-over badger who's had two cats have some sort of octagon UFC fight inside my stomach.
Oh man, have you been watching the show? What did you think of my intro? Did I nail it?
Yeah, beautiful. The only thing is, I was like, stop talking about the weather because you did it twice. Like, I'm going apeshit. It's like literally that's how bad it is that I have to phone in the show when I'm like dying. Just like
Who was talking about the weather? Was it me?
Yeah, Johnny FPV left after you started talking about the weather. He's like, these guys are excited about getting 10 inches. Like, that's just like, what the hell? I'm going to strangle you if I ever see you again.
The guys from Chicago, and we've all seen the movie Home Alone. We know how cold it gets in Chicago. He's probably just like 10 centimeters. That's ridiculous.
I'd like to remind you that film was essentially something for Michael Jackson to jerk off to.
There we go. That's
only
what
did
that's what the show's been missing.
Jack, the CIA guy episode.
Mate, I am banned from that. Like.
Yeah, even I'd say don't let Jack on that one.
I'd love to go.
No,
That's
Oh,
your
man.
recuperation episode, I think.
If I cut off, it's because I'm totally out of data. This is like my final stand.
Data. When are you going to be
No.
back on then, Jack? Are you going to be back
If
on?
you want to go fund me, like donate money to PayPal, I just need an extra 20. No, I need £15. I've got a £5 left in my PayPal. So donate to Brighton Till I Fly for more internet.
Or more Jack
I'd
content.
hate to be running out of internet in hospital. I'll send you some money.
Yeah, no. Oh, you're meant to be coming down to visit me, but like, I just don't want you coming down here and being like, "Right, where is the Yeti?" And they're like, "Oh, he's getting cut open like a fish downstairs." You know what I mean? And you're just like, you come all this way, and you just like you get to stare at my like jacket and scarf and like an empty space.
Patches against the chair.
Yeah, I know.
Died, wasn't I? And then the music will come on.
Mate, I am literally
dun,
praying for death sometimes in this place.
Oh, no.
Like, do you want me to tell you about the soup anecdote? They were like,
Probably not.
We are
Yeah.
on air still, Jack. We are.
yeah. Well, no, they give me food, and then they read the board, and they're like, you're like fluid only, and I'm like, but soup is a fluid, and then they're like, you're not allowed to have this, so they take my food away from me, and then wonder why I get pissed off, and I'm like, you don't even give me a chance to explain. They just walk out the door, and the nurse,
hospital.
yeah, and then the nurse is like, oh, you in too much pain to eat? I was like, no, they keep taking it away from me. So she chases them down, and it's because the soup's got lumps in it. So they strain it and then give me half the bowl of soup back, and then I'm like,
Zero says.
you do
Zero
realise?
says, "Do you want half of his kidney?" Well, not half of it. One of them.
No, I'm alright, man. No, like intestine only. So then I'm like, you do realise I'm in control of like what I put in my mouth. You know what I mean? I just won't put the lumpy bits in my mouth. Just like, you know, as if like they take the water off me and stuff like that. And it's like, look, the reason why the water's there is because I didn't drink it all last night because you told me not to. I am capable of like doing stuff you tell me. It drives me nuts. Like,
it's absolutely just it's horrible being in a hospital for any amount of time.
Yeah.
So the amount of time that you've been, it must be driving you crazy.
I'm surprised I haven't set light to the place. Like they lock all my medication away and stuff, and I'm like, you do realise like that's not going to stop me. You know?
Yeah.
Right, so
It's not the way to stop a Jack. It'll keep you entertained for a few minutes, though.
I know, like I've never. I'm just angry all the time. They actually like give me diazepam to like make me manageable.
The Jack.
You need a lot of that as well.
We send Jack some products to unbox in his bed. That'd be an interesting video.
I mean, last time I was here, I got in trouble for like escaping and made me sign a discharge form. So then I stole the discharge letter. So there's no record of it.
How long have you been there? How long have you been there, Jack? Oh, a couple of days.
It just feels like I'm in Lord of the Rings, except with a lot less walking. You know what I mean? I've been in and out. So basically, I went in first time, got discharged, made it 5 days, and then ended up going back. And then they didn't do a CT scan, and then discharged me again. And then I didn't even make it 24 hours before I went back. And they were like, "Why didn't they scan you?" And I was like, "They're worried about the radiation." And they were like, "Oh, don't worry about that." So I'm probably never going to have kids again. So they CT scanned me, and they were like, "Yeah." So then
Again.
It's a whole other story.
yeah. So then like basically, I've had about like 7 flights to the US. You know, like I've got like a 1 in like 1,000 chance of having like proper cancer. That's great.
Oh no.
So then they scan me and they're like, "Oh yeah, you've got a hole in your intestine. No wonder you're in so much pain. Like, but you know, like, do you want some drugs?" And I'm like, "Yeah." They're like,
But what about the intestine? But yes, I'll have some.
God, I'm coming there with Bradders tomorrow. He's going to be raiding the drugs cupboards.
No, Bradders is probably the only person that goes to hospital with more drugs than the hospital.
Yeah, he'll be selling it to the pharmacy.
I know, but like,
We are still live on air.
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah.
We're just incriminating our friends here.
I know.
People that
Well, one of the A&E nurses went, fucking hell, like, it's a miracle you can stand up. And I'm like, it's because it hurts more sat down, like trying to sit me down because it's like folding myself in half. And she was like, fair enough. And then just like, here's 20 mils of Warmorph. And I'm like, nice one, guys. So I've just been like off my face constantly whilst here. Like,
right then.
in A&E, I was like, I had like the hottest nurse ever, and I was like dribbling. It's the worst. Like, I was like
That was before the
literally,
drug.
yeah, I was like literally praying for death. She was so hot. Just,
Oh
she
dear.
was like, "Can I get
So-
you anything?" I was like, "Your Instagram or your phone number."
So Jack,
She's-
so on for the Christmas stream on the 21st.
I doubt it, man. I'm like, I've got a major
no.
operation, but I'll try my best.
We're gonna have.
I just keep getting
Fireflies,
bumped.
and we're gonna have David, and we're gonna have who else are we having on?
I don't know. I'm gonna try and like line a few people up, but you got to get Chad. You got to get
Well, we've got
Schizo.
Definitely got Chad.
No, Kappa.
I haven't spoken to Kappa.
Yeah. Got to get Chad Kappa. Carlito's got to come back on because he's a really cool guy. Like, even though everyone thinks I hate him.
Everyone has to wear a Christmas hat. Is that right?
I don't know, man. Whatever, like, really. I want you in a mankini tone.
Like for you, Jack, on Christmas special, if you're still in hospital, I will wear a mankini.
Mate, if I'm still in hospital, I'm going to fucking hang myself with fucking
I
drip
shaved my bloody
lightly.
head off with our Halloween special.
Mate, that is so funny. Like, we need to, like, release that to our Patreons. Can we have some Patreons? I also spoke to my t-shirt printing old boss about the hoodies and t-shirts, and he grumbled a bit about trying to get them done before Christmas, but he said he will liaise with you, Frank, by phone number if you want his phone number.
Yeah, sure.
I think we
Yeah,
should do that.
so-
I definitely want one for Christmas.
So, like, yeah, guys, if you do want to buy LDO shit, man, now's the time to try and, like, you've just got to order it and PayPal one of us, and we'll try and get it done.
One of
And
us, one of us.
just trust us, and, like, you know.
We've got to have Andy RC wearing one, haven't we? If he wears one every single episode, he does.
Yeah, I think we should do like a low cut top for him, like a V-neck, like V-neck dress, like.
A dress.
That's a smashing
Yeah,
blouse
man.
you're wearing.
I know. I think you'll have to.
Bro.
I think you'll have to like go find it. So yeah, go find one wherever you buy them from and send it in to the print studio or to Frank and make sure that it gets done.
I love that. I love some LDO swag. For sure.
Yeah, man. So yeah, they're on the cards because I told him like we'll get more stuff done and like pay him some more money and he's gonna like redo. So it's all good.
Got any idea of prices?
Well, I'm hoping Frank can drive a hard bargain.
Well, it was better than you than doing the t-shirts because you were selling them cheaper than what we wanted to sell them for.
I know. Like, no, you're ridiculous. No, it's your hoodies, man. Like 50 quid hoodies. Like you do realise this is Let's Drone fucking out. Like
I'll give you some badges to sell and then give them away for free.
you couldn't even pay a fucking homeless person to wear an LDO shirt for 50 quid. Like you know what I mean?
Well, that makes me feel better, Jack. Thank you.
Yeah, I know. Like, that was it.
Technically, I am homeless.
Yeah, Jack is not to be trusted with merchandise.
Yeah.
Or marketing.
Just
No,
sell, give them away for free. Give him some stickers
He's
to
not
sell.
actually
Give them away
trusted
for free.
for most things, to be honest.
Yeah, I did. Like the poor Andy was just like, you can't start complaining about sending free shirts to people about paying the postage. I was like, no, I made Tony pay half, and he was like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, that was to Chad.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not complaining. Don't worry. You know,
Chad's been wearing his though.
Poor Frank's been like literally my counsellor. He's been like checking in on me every day to make sure I'm like not dead.
Coke,
But he's
still alive.
and he almost like messages me with excitement when his day's shitter than mine. You know, it's just like
One-upmanship. Yeah.
yeah. Don't worry, Jack. You're not like fishing plastic SLA turds out of this sink. you know, with a spoon, like, because I'm not trusted with the pool saw anymore.
Right, we're getting lots of stuff in the chat still. People want LDO fanny packs, LDO propeller beanies, LDO battery cozies, bobbleheads, and LDO liquor and mankinis.
Can you imagine they're throwing out battery straps like fucking Enjo be using them as cock rings or something for all his groupies, like. No, I'm really jealous. Like, he's got a life and I haven't. Do you know what I mean? Even though,
Look, he's come back. Jack's back, and he's already scared someone off.
don't worry,
Ash is like, no.
I've got a little
you're gonna get
wiggling away there. I need to go and
don't
see
worry,
what.
mate. When you get your
Hopefully, I'll see you Sunday if it's not snowing.
Looking forward to seeing you guys on Sunday.
yeah.
Thanks,
Ash,
guys.
don't worry, your
mate.
shirt will have nipple holes in it, so you can lactate for the kids.
God, he left. It's
Damn
quick.
Damn it, he literally ran away from that.
Jack,
he knew it
people
was coming.
people want to want an update of you, so they wanted me to film you. What? Can I film you?
No, personal, private, like medical history. Like, I know you. You'll start like filming my fucking doctor's notes on the end of my bed, like, and stuff. It's got my fucking address on it and stuff.
Look,
I've already got weirdos like sending me fucking flying bollocks and stuff thanks to you. Just want to fucking. He wonders why I have a go at him. Like, he's like, "Oh, you just need to be positive." I'm like, "It's a major operation, you dickhead."
You'll be fine. Positive vibes is what I'm trying to send you. You're so negative. I'm going to be cut open and die.
They give me cutlery here, and I'm going to stab you in the eye with it.
I can't wait. I'm surprised I haven't given you plastic because you're so stupid.
I'm not. I forget, like sectioned or something. I don't know. It's the worst. I'm probably like really pissing everyone off here. Like,
you see,
Mr. Frost has just said in the chat. Wife shouts in, "What the hell are you watching?" Just heard cock rings. Sitting here, listening to all she hears cock rings. He can tell you're back.
So we've got a message here from Mr. Thrust saying, "How can I please my missus using FPV goggles during sex?" Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Did you see my FPV drive?
Means it's time to call an end to the live stream.
No. Like, what's? No, seriously, you barely covered the race flight shit, man. What's going on?
Kayland went rogue and released race flight to. What are you drinking Red Bull at 10 o'clock at night?
Yes, I have to. This is how I just.
You're editing tonight, and
mate, he's northern. What do you think?
Next video.
He's northern. You do realise, like fucking white lightning comes out of
Look at all this business.
Oh my god, man!
The nurse just shouted at me for dissing northerners. You're Yorkshire anyway. That's not north.
Anyway, race flight. Kaylan went rogue. Put race flight out on GitHub and said it was open software. And then it's come back down again. Apparently, only 1 line or 20 lines of code was from Beta Flight or Clean Flight. And
it's from Clean Flight. Like, surely you'd want to nick stuff from Beta Flight, not Clean Flight.
Well, they're both the same these days, aren't they?
Yeah, they are pretty much the same.
Well, one's worked on, one isn't.
Coding's going to be cleaner than anyone else's, isn't it?
I'd be interested to hear what Dom says about all this. Could we get him on? Maybe he's been on before, hasn't he?
He's moving at the moment.
Yeah.
Oh yes, he is, isn't he? Yeah.
I literally had to make his girlfriend make him come on. Like, you know, I had to like bully him. Do you know what I mean? I felt like I was cuckolding him the whole time he was on. Sorry, am I allowed to say that?
We just don't get this kind of content when Jack's not here. It's just magical, isn't it?
Saying the most honiest thing ever. Like, just watch more Frankie Boyle, man. That'll fucking straighten you out.
No, but like the chemistry you and Tony have, I just can't. It's just not there with me. You know, I love Tony, but it's just there's not this banter that goes on. There's just something there between you.
No, invite Tony round your house. Let him touch things, right? And then he sort of like gets his stank all over him and then thinks he owns everything. And like then he'll start demanding stuff. And like he's got like some sort of entitlement. And then like he just lets his dogs like piss all over your stuff.
Oh,
I'm like,
mate. You
I'm
remember
sat
when
there.
Wally just pissed on your floor?
Yeah, I sat there, turned to him. I'm like, mate, that dog's pissing.
He was just marking his territory like me.
Pissed all over my stuff, like everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And that's the level of hatred. It's like, yeah, I like Tony, but
Even his dogs hate you.
he just makes my life so much worse. Do you know what I mean? He's like,
I can't
he's like
wait to see you
he's like an
tomorrow.
enjoyable form of cancer. Well,
I'm doing a
as
vlog.
enjoyable as much as you can. You're not. I swear to God, I will kill you.
Oh, I
I'm
love a
vlogging.
vlog. Yes.
Vlogging,
Vlog.
going to see Jack on
This
Saturday.
is the vlog, right?
I'm flying with Bradders Saturday morning at a monastery thing, a castle type thing, and then I'm coming to see you, and I am going to vlog it
You're right, man.
all the way to your bed.
Mate, like,
You can't
look, I
do
know what's
anything
going to
to be
happen.
better.
This is the vlog. He's going to show up and he's going to be like, oh, I know. Yeah, sorry, I'm on a fucking YouTube show. Sorry, mate. They just start talking to me and stuff because they're finding the music.
Shut up.
No, you come round, right, and you're just going to be like, oh, well, there's one good thing. At least you're not fat anymore. And it's like, oh, thanks, Tony. That's because I can't fucking eat. Like, and even when I do eat, they fucking strain half of it away.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to seeing you now. I'm definitely vlogging it.
Arsehole.
I love how he has to explain his own YouTube show.
They don't even know what YouTube is. Like, fucking.
I definitely think it's time to call it. But
That's the
Yeah.
guy who I got in trouble for like removing the light bulbs out of his thing because they were giving him a headache. Because they don't trust you with light switches, so I removed the bulb, and so like the surgeons come in and they catch me up on a chair like removing the bulbs out of the fucking bed light, and then call the nurse, and then I get in trouble. So
You're
far,
like
I've
a
been
naughty school kid, didn't you?
yeah, I've been written up twice.
You'll be expelled from
I
hospital.
can't tell you what the other thing was for. And then last time I got written up once, and then I just stole the paperwork.
Can you? Right, I'll find out for
Let's-
everyone on my vlog.
let's go off air and then maybe we can find out.
If
Yeah.
if my internet lasts that long,
Everyone in the chat, thank you for
donate to Brighton Till I Fly at PayPal,
what?
Gmail.
He needs money for.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm going to say
Data,
man.
yeah, that's it.
He needs
Brighton Till I Fly
data
at
to keep him-
gmail.com.
Keep him insane.
Yeah.
Sane, I mean.
Keep him
No,
insane.
insane,
Sorry.
actually.
I know.
There.
Yeah,
I'm so
hopefully
sorry.
see you all on Sunday, and also tune in next week when we'll have CAA and that whole.
I mean, you fuckers on the show are going to have to donate in order to talk to me whilst Painless and Andy RC are there anyway.
Yes.
Because
And
I want to have a
see you-
FaceTime.
See you next week.